try this again. All right, hopefully you have sound now. Okay, good. All right, so I will try this again. So if you've come here in the past to the Prism Samples repository, you've probably noticed that this is very, very different than it used to be. It was very, very basic. I think there was maybe 4 or 5 samples, and they were okay-ish. Can I zoom a bit? Let me see. I think I can. What is the command on that one? Yes. Okay. How is that? Hopefully that's better. In any case, yeah, so we have all of these different samples in here now. Not all of them are actually implemented. And I'll kind of show you more on that later. But at least for right now, we have some scaffolding here, so that way it'll make it very easy for people to kind of help out and to kind of get more of a learning process there for people. So we have kind of like this Hello Prism sample, and that one I've implemented just to show some basic stuff on navigation. We have some service registration samples here. There's one on commanding, composite commands, which is actually an older sample. And you'll figure out very quickly what kind of is a older sample, what is a newer sample. So if you look at this one for the composite commands, you'll notice that the solution here is called using composite commands, and the actual project files, it's all using composite commands. But if we come in and we look at just the commands one, we'll see that this is actually a newer sample. So all of the new sample projects all say Prism Sample, and the project name is, of course, Prism Sample. So, it's all from a simple template just to kind of get everything there and ready for you. I'm kind of anal on certain things, so I really hate that experience. Even if it's a damn sample, I want it to still look kind of nice. So one of the things I've done is actually put like the Prism logo for all the app icons, and there's like a splash screen on Android and that kind of thing. But otherwise, it's just basically an empty template. There's not a whole lot there, but you don't have to go and install Prism. You don't have to create a template and all these, crazy things. So if you want to help out, it's something that you can just go in and you can add a couple of things real quick. So if you wanted to kind of do the sample for, say, the Dialog service, you could just add a dialogue and kind of show how that works very, very simply. Now, if we kind of come down here, you'll notice that we kind of skip a whole bunch of numbers. And then, we have like this Popup plugin, some logging ones. There are a couple over here, one for Shiny, one for Reactive UI. And then we skip again, and then we get down to this Prism's form gallery and the Contoso cookbook. And no, it is not bad math. This was actually by design. So there were a couple of things here. One is that I wanted to leave some room for if you are trying to add more topics later on, if we feel the need to do that. And then the other thing is just to kind of also indicate like these are kind of maybe a little bit more advanced, or there's a reason that we want these kind of separated. So for like the Prism.Forms gallery that Hussein did, thank you for that, by the way, Hussein. We wanted to kind of put these at the very end because these are more complete samples. These are not topic driven, but just generally we're showing you a sample application that is using Prism. So we wanted these kind of at the very end. So it is more of a sorting thing more than anything else. But that is kind of why. When we come down to the actual README, you'll see that we have this topic, Learning Prism. And so when we're looking at this, we see kind of, again, the topic numbers here. And then if I kind of skip by a whole bunch of stuff here, you'll see that there is this advanced concepts right here. And you'll notice like that 50 to 60 kind of thing. This is where those samples live here, because this is not something that you want to just dive into if you're just starting out. You want to understand the basics first, which again is why the numbering is different there. And then again, we have actual sample applications like the Prism's Form Gallery and the Contoso Cookbook. So that is kind of what is going on there. Now you'll notice that a lot of the samples here have this coming soon description. And that is not because I am lazy and forgot to add a description to it. It is because it is not implemented yet. So it is a topic that we have added here, but the actual sample itself still is yet to be done. And I would be happy to accept PRs. So hopefully for some of you that are watching, PR challenge with Prism stickers. Yes, I could absolutely do that. So let me see here. How about, if you send me a PR, I'll send you both of these stickers. And you can kind of put them on, and that way you get the Dan sticker as well as the Prism sticker, because who would not want my face on your laptop, right? I mean, I think it's awesome. Of course, I'm gonna plug the Dan head. Actually, it was funny. I went to a meetup last week, and I carry them around now because I think it's hilarious. And I just started putting them on people's laptops while I was there, and everybody thought it was hilarious. So they were a lot of fun. Anyway, so yes, if you would like to do any of the samples, definitely feel free to do that. So like the registering services one is not done. A lot of these again were kind of ones that we already kind of had laying around, like the delegate command one, which really, I just kind of opened an issue at the very beginning of the stream. But we need to kind of combine, I think, the delegate command and the composite command into a single sample and just kind of have different pages that show different aspects of it. Right now for the delegate command, I'm actually using some code that Brian had originally intended about 2 years ago, I think, but had intended to do a Pluralsight course with, and then he never got around to it. So we've kind of taken that, but really all it showed was the observes can execute, and there's a lot more to learn about delegate commands, so that could use some enhancement for sure. But definitely, like I said, any of these coming soon ones, feel free to grab. We'll take a look, I guess, at the service registration. And so you'll notice that any of the ones that have the coming soon, you're going to see like a to-do on the README inside of the project folder. And there are a few notes here, just to kind of see like what is it that we're wanting. So like for the service registration, what we would like to show is how to register a transient service, how to register a singleton service, and some way of visualizing the difference, right? So, one way that you might do something like that, I think anyway, is to kind of have one service that has like a static integer or something that gets incremented every time it gets resolved, and then you just display what that value is on multiple pages or something like that, and that way you can see hey, every time I've called a new page that's using this service, it gets incremented one more time because we're creating a new version of it, versus the singleton where it's going to be one every single time. A GUID would work as well. So there are different ways of doing it. The important thing, I think, is just understanding what is that difference and being able to visualize it. So that way, if you are coming from a background where maybe you don't understand a whole lot about dependency injection, that you can get some sort of idea of what we're talking about when we say transient or singleton. So anywho, yeah, so I guess with that, the other thing that I've kind of updated here is if we come into the issues and we hit new issue, you'll notice that there are a couple of issue templates, which there did not used to be. So these are brand new. If you would like to do one of the samples, if you'd like to help us out, what I would ask you to do is to come in here and file an issue and use this last one here. And so just kind of say, like, let's say the service registration, is the one that you wanted to do. And we can ignore GitHub because I don't know what they're talking about right now. And, we want to, just kind of say, what is the sample? So we're going to say, it's O2 service registration, and, it needs to be implemented, right? So just file an issue for me and everybody else if you're going to do this. And you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to do anything crazy. This can literally be the issue, just so we can see that you are going to take ownership of it. And once you have created the issue, I'll come in and assign the issue to you. And that way, if you want to do something, even if it takes you a week to do it or whatever, that's fine. It's not like it has to be done tomorrow. But just so, everybody knows that you're working on it, and, somebody else can take a different topic, since you're going to pick whatever one you are. So I'm not actually going to pick that one today. You'll see I've already kind of self-assigned myself plenty. And Rodney Littles, by the way, he has come in here and volunteered to do one on reactive. So definitely thank you to Rodney on that. I'll also be doing one on Prism Prism with ShinyLib, and then also for the plugins as well. So that's really, I think, more what we're going to work on today, is kind of doing that. And let's see here. What did Hussein say? Realistically, the sample should come with docs about the topic so we can polish the docs and yes. Hussein. Yes, we absolutely do want some documentation with that. So again, if we kind of come back here, you'll notice that there was this README inside of the actual sample folder. So, some of the things, I mean, it's very easy to say that what we want you to do is, to just implement the code in the sample project. And that is definitely important, right? Like if you don't have that, it's not a sample. It's a template, which they are right now. But the README is something that is going to, or should, survive. We do definitely want, some notes here on the README to kind of explain what is the takeaway from that sample, right? So that way somebody can look at this at some point. It'll get updated both in the actual docs, which the doc site has been updated, and I'll show that in a minute as well. So we'll be updating the doc site. We'll be updating this to kind of link back to the doc, so that way they're kind of pointing at each other, and you can kind of go back and forth. That is the goal here. We really do want to make it a lot easier for people to be involved, but also to be able to learn. So hopefully you guys will help us out with that. So let me create a new tab here, and we'll say Prism library. Well, that was the wrong one. Oh, that was prismlibrary.com. Yes. How about that one? We'll go to the documentation. And so here, it looks basically the same, right? However, and I'm gonna, I think, try to go in again on here. It looks like the zooming didn't persist, but in any case, so if we look here, you'll notice that this is actually a little bit different. Now, not all of the topics are complete by any stretch, but I was kind of on a roll on Friday, and yeah, so I added a bunch of different things here, so that there is kind of now this base, kind of thing here where we're talking about behaviors. We do need to add something about the behavior factory as well. There's this event to command page, which actually did exist, but it was like down here. So we want to kind of just at some point start expanding on the behaviors. There's a whole topic now on dependency injection. So this kind of explains quite a bit here. How to register types, again, what I was talking about as far as transient services, singletons, all of that is here. Even, there's something which I didn't put in the topic on the samples repo, but, it might be something we want to add in there. I'm kind of impartial on it, but, definitely talking about name services and kind of how that might work might be a nice thing to kind of do there. Definitely we will want to talk in there. There should be a topic on there about registering platform specific services. Let's see if I can talk today. So we do have the iPlatform initializer, so that is kind of here as well. There is this page, which I think did exist before, and I just moved it under the dependency injection topic on creating a custom container. And this is largely just kind of pulling some information from a blog post that I did. You can't actually, platform registration are hidden. Yes, they are. They definitely are hidden gems. By the way, I would not copy this code on account of iContainer extension has been changed since I wrote that. There is an appendix on here that kind of talks a little bit about the Prism container extensions and support for Shiny, which I don't know if Alan is on here or not, but if he is on here, it's a terrible library. You shouldn't fucking use it. If he's not on here, it's an awesome library. You definitely should use it. I use it in all my projects now. It really is wonderful. That's why I've spent so much time supporting it and kind of working with Alan on it. So definitely check it out. It is very easy to use. Big thing, and we'll kind of look at this because this is, I think, one of the ones I will implement today, is the Shiny. But one very, very important thing to kind of take away here, the way that Prism is built, the source of truth is your Prism application. And when you're working with Shiny, the source of truth has to actually exist before you've initialized xamarin.forms itself, because Shiny has to be initialized before xamarin.forms can be initialized. So that really, it moves the bar quite a bit. And, so you need to do something to change that source of truth. And the Prism container extensions really help with that. So there are some things that you can do. You can choose, I actually have a whole bunch of different projects in there, and I guess we'll do yet another tab because why not? Why are we looking at history? Clear. Okay. Don't know what's going on there. Anyway, so we'll go to github.com and we'll look at the container extensions here. And just, okay, apparently I'm not signed in. That was weird. Anyway, so you'll notice that there are a whole bunch of different projects here. There's the container extensions themselves, and that's nothing really more than an abstraction layer. Brian, it's not all lies. Shiny's awesome. Deal with it. So if you're, if you're using this though, you can choose, do you want to use an extended version of Prism.Forms? And it has some things that I like for helping me, and some of the things, and I've talked about it before, but but one of the things is I have some hooks in there to catch like uncaught exceptions, whether they're coming from a platform level, whether they're coming from a task that you maybe didn't, you awaited it, but you didn't have any kind of, try catch or anything around it. So there's all that handling. There's extra logging that is taking place. So you can use this if you want. And you'll notice that there's like Prism Dry IOC extensions, and then this Prism Dry IOC forms .extended. So if you're using this package here, then you wouldn't use Prism Dry IOC.forms, because this will actually give you this package over here, and it'll give you a Prism application itself. But if you don't want to use that, you just want to use the classic, Prism.Forms, then what I would actually say is don't reference Prism Dry IOC.forms, just reference Prism.Forms and inherit from Prism application base, because there's only one actual method that we use anyway. That's just the providing the container extension. So all you would need to do then is just reference this project right here, the Prism Dry IOC extensions, which is completely platform agnostic. It doesn't care about WPF or xamarin.forms. There's no reference to any of that nonsense. It is just, it's really ultimately only referencing prism.core and the Prism container extensions. So that way, it can provide an implementation of the Dry IOC container around that. So with that, I guess I'll kind of get started here. If anybody has any questions, definitely let me know, and we can kind of talk about that. So let me... Okay, Visual Studio is like not cooperating with me. Hold on. Let's see if I can drag this over now. Come on. See, I upgraded like 3 months too early. I should have waited another 3 months and gotten the 16-inch laptop with 64 gigs of RAM for the same price. Oh well. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Yeah. So this is going to be the pop-up sample here. So the first thing I will do is we'll come over here and we'll say Prism plugin popups, and we'll go ahead and install that. Hit OK. All right, and then let's go ahead, and I'm going to add a couple of things here. So the first thing I want to do is we'll add actually a pop-up page. So we'll say sample pop-up. Yes, I have a custom dialog service in the Prism pop-ups, and I will definitely definitely be showing that here. So we'll increase that. I'll make this a little bit easier for people to read. And let's see here. So we'll come in here, say pop-up, pop-ups. And there we go. There's our namespace. There we go. Okay. And so let's throw a stack layout in here. Let me give a background color white. Why not? Excuse me. And say, do just a label text. We'll do a binding for a message, because why not? And then let's add a button in here. We'll say, oops, close. And actually, I guess what I will also do, let's say Prism library. And I really hate the, like when they're not lined up. It's one of just like my anal kind of things here. I'm like, I just don't like it. It drives me crazy. It's got to line up. Okay, anyway, so we have that, and then we're going to say Prism go back. So this is something that you might kind of have, right? If we just want to keep things very, very simple. And now I'm going to add a view model here. Let's say, what was the sample pop-up view model. All right. And bindable base. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to create a property here, call it message. And we'll do set property. Okay, cool. So now we need to kind of do something with this to set it. Now I'm lazy, so I'm going to just use auto initialize. Oops, if I can spell, auto initialize. Okay. It's one of those things where I actually really do like that. Of course, do I want to do auto initialize, or should I do abracadabra? I think we'll do abracadabra, because why not? Anyway, I wonder how many of you actually get that joke, by the way. I find it funny. So we will kind of come in here. We'll say we want to register this, of course. Container. I don't know what the container is. Register for navigation. Sample pop-up. Okay. Cool. Now from our main page. So what do you guys think, actually? Should we do a, should we do something where we do deep linking with it? So basically what I mean by that is on our initial navigation, should we do the pop-up from the main page / sample pop-up, or should we just do a button to show the pop-up? I kind of feel like we should do I think we should deep link this, right? Because we want to show off that can be done. It's a good question. I don't want to I don't want to make it confusing for people that are just trying to figure out the basics, right? I'd rather show them the harder, I have to put a registration for every single thing I want on here. Even though for this sample, I definitely could just do the auto register for navigation. Like I could just say boom and be done. Whoa, hello. That was way fast. Yeah, so I could do just that one attribute and then I wouldn't have to put these here. But, I'm going to, so. Yeah, and I'm actually going to change it back from iAbracadabra. I just love the fact that everything is actually from iAbracadabra. So, but yeah. Anyway. I really am curious. I know some of you knew that it was there, but I'm curious how many of you guys actually knew that it was there. So if you didn't know that it was there, say something in chat just so I know. Yeah, so we'll have a message here. Hello from a deep link. I don't know. And actually, let's see if I fixed UWP on this machine or not. I don't know. I was having issues on this machine with UWP. I actually thought that like all the UWP samples were broken at one point, and then like even from file new template, and then I realized no, if I take this sample and I run it on my other machine, it works just fine. So we'll kind of see what happens there. Failed. Okay, so it's still broken. I need to fix UWP on this machine still. Yay. Okay. Actually, let me give me 1 sec here. Now, if I were, yeah, okay. So I am going to just hook up my Android device because my Android is much easier to display on the screen for whatever reason than my iPhone. I don't know why. Although I guess I could just do a simulator. I guess, yeah, let me just do a simulator for now. Because I think my Android device is dead. Yes, it is. So, okay, so let's try running this real quick. And we'll just see kind of what is going on here. I like that, Hussein. You want pain. Yes, that is what UWP stands for. Okay. Building. Okay. I feel like, what would be a really great improvement in Visual Studio is if they played the Jeopardy theme while it was building. I think that would be hilarious. The little things. Maybe I should just write an extension for Visual Studio that would do that. Of course, I would have to put it on a loop because some of these Xamarin builds take forever. Let's see here. And then every once in a while, I don't know if you guys have seen this. You probably have. You get like halfway done and then it just like stays there, You're like, what the heck? All right, come on. So we'll see how long this takes to build. Yes, it is very painful. Sounds like I have an angry dog outside. Okay. God, this is taking forever. Might need to kill this build. Okay. I also love this. I say cancel, and then like 5 minutes later, it's still building. I don't know, whatever. Okay. Ay. I don't know how many times it wants me to hit cancel. Good grief. Well, something is messed up here. Okay. So why don't we do this? Well, we just quit. Yeah, I know. Say task manager. What in the hell? Oh. So we killed that. Let me try this other IDE that may or may not be stable. Probably not stable. Okay, it's VS Mac. It's not stable. We all know this. What are we doing with the pop-up page? I am going to do an iDialog service demo in the pop-up one as well. Yes. Let me just open this again here and samples, pop-up. Okay. Let's hit start. Yep, there we go. No, I don't want. Go to the simulator. What are you doing? Okay. Oh, that would be a good reason for it to die. Okay. What is? Let me increase the size on this here if I can. That's what I did. Why isn't it? Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, come on. We'll go back. How about now? Can you hear me now? I'll give it like 10 seconds. Hopefully that fixed it. No? Yes? Bueller? I don't know how long of a delay there is on here, so yeah. What was the last thing that you guys heard? I don't know. Not hearing nothing. Hello? Anybody there? Bueller? Nothing? Everything is quiet in chat. Anyway. It looks like it's working. Okay. It's back. I think there must be a heck of a delay or something. Anyway. So it looks like it's working. So we'll keep going here. Anyway, so we had the stack layout, very basic. We're not doing anything crazy. We had a message that got populated from our query string. So that is kind of there. One thing I should probably do here is we'll get rid of this basic label. And let me move. We'll say horizontal. Whoa, not orientation. That was some crap. Horizontal options. Thank you. Center. And vertical options. Center. Thank you. And then we'll put in a button here. Okay. And we'll say show pop-up. And I believe, let me take a look at the view model for main page. So the main page view model has nothing in it. So I could do more XAML navigation, but I don't want to. I'm going to actually do the iNavigation service here. And then main page view model, iNavigation service. And actually, I should probably also, while I'm here, dialog service. Okay. And we'll add that as well. Okay. put this up here, private dialog service. Okay. Okay, cool. So there's a huge lag. Okay, that's odd. I don't know why there's such a huge lag. Anyway, nothing I can do about that. But let's see here. So we're going to create a delegate command to navigate, or actually I'll say show popup command. And I'm just trying to think here. You know what would be fun, actually, is why don't we have a message here. So we'll send the message. Okay. Say ref message. Okay. Value. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to update the main page. And let's, I think, hold on one sec here. Yeah. The formatting was kind of messed up for some reason. Anyway, so we'll put in an, was it? Yeah, an entry. Hello, yes. Message. It's like I've never done this before or something. Yeah. So now we have just an entry for the message that somebody can put whatever into. And then we'll have this, let's say command binding, what was it? Show popup command. Thank you, mfractor, for the IntelliSense. Yeah. Anyway, you know, I keep, like, I've had this conversation with the Visual Studio team. Like, they should just be able to infer automatically the same way mfractor does. Like, I don't know what their problem is if they can't do this. Anyway, I'm just bitching for the sake of bitching. Yeah, so we have the show dialog, and then I guess we'll do, actually, I guess I'll update this here. So we'll say, we'll do another delegate command, and we want to show dialog. So show dialog command. Okay. We'll add another button there. And the text will say show dialog. Whoa, what the hell was that? Show, no, what in the hell? I'm gonna have a conversation with Matt about that autocomplete nonsense. Show dialog command. Now I want this. Jesus Christ. Okay. Show dialog command. Thank you. That was some crazy nonsense right there. Okay. So we have that updated, and you know, let me do, what in the hell is going on? It's like I get auto completion when I don't want auto completion. Like, I just want a tab or space. Come on. All right, let me put a style in here, because why not? So we'll say static resource and dark button. Yes. So that would be another thing I might kind of point out is there is some styling in here. Yeah, so if you come into the app, you'll notice that there are some colors defined, there are some styles defined, there's an implicit style for button, and then there is an extra style for button if you want. Just to kind of make it look nicer. Anyway, so we have all of that. Let's, I guess, maybe kind of do some relevant stuff here. So dialog service, navigation service, okay. And then we'll kind of create some, well, I'm gonna have to do an async void on the on show popup command. Okay, and then we'll do just a private void on show dialog. Whoa, show dialog command. And now we can set those. So show popup. Okay, on show, and then show dialog is going to be on show dialog. Okay. And then we just need to say, you know, I always like to do this, by the way. I don't know if you guys do this, but I always like to get the result so I can check it. So yeah, navigate, and what was it? Sample pop-up, and I'm going to say message, message. Okay. So if you didn't know, there is actually an overload that takes tuples on the navigate kind of method there. So it makes it a little easier, so you don't have to, you know, do the more verbose, okay, here are some new, you know, navigation parameters and all that nonsense, because I'm lazy. Yeah, so I always like to kind of do this, if not result success. Whoa, not start. Where the hell did that come from? I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. Oh, yeah, because I didn't await it. That would make sense. Okay. Yeah. So if not result success, and then diagnostics debugger break. Yeah. So just so if anything were to happen, you are automatically going to get a breakpoint, whether you meant to or not. Yeah. So there is that. And then for the show dialog, well, we don't really have a dialog to show yet, so we're going to just kind of leave that empty for now. And let's go ahead and run this. Hello from Deep Link. Yeah, there's something really funky about that. Like it, Oh, I know why. Okay, hold on. I didn't do anything I was supposed to do. So what is the first thing you should always do when using a library, right? Is go to the docs. And you would think just because I wrote it, I would remember, but I don't. This is why you write docs. Now I could go all the way, actually I could go all the way to rg.plugins docs, but I just need to come over here. So let me look at the, yes, okay. So there is an init on the platform. We did not add that init, and we need to. So let me add that. I'm sure this is not correct, but that's okay, because it'll hopefully tell me what it wants. Yeah, so we want the, what is it? Just the, this and the saved. Okay, cool. So there is that. So now that is initialized. And there were actually two other things I forgot to do, right? I thought it looked like we were just pushing a modal, and we were pushing a modal. So we've initialized rg plugins, but the other thing we didn't do, because I'm an idiot, is register pop-up navigation. I think that was what it is, right? Oh, no, that's not it. What is it? Huh? Is it before the xamarin.forms in it? What do you mean? Should it, oh, rg plugins init should, I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Usually I put it before. I didn't even notice that it was before in the sample until you just said something, to be perfectly honest. And I'm the one that wrote it. So there you go. What was it? Pop-up navigation service. Okay. So yeah, so we do need this line here. And we'll put that in there. Using Prism plugin pop-ups. Okay, so that was the namespace. Makes sense, right? A little bit. So let's try running that again, and it should look more appropriate this time, I think. Maybe. Wow. That was interesting. Okay. Maybe it does need to go before. You might be right. We'll try it. Huh. Why on earth? That is very strange. Huh. Okay. We were expected to have a root. Okay. That's strange. Okay. Let me, I guess maybe we'll take out this deep link on startup here. Okay. That might be why. I think I know why. I think basically what's happening there is we're actually trying to push the pop-up before the main page is being set, which is what's causing the problem. So I cannot actually show that. But we should be good now. Yes. Okay. So that was, see, yeah. What a huge difference. Now I can see the background. Hello from main page. Okay. And we'll say, how about this? But hello Twitch stream. Hello Twitch stream. There you go. Hey, look at that. It's amazing. It works. Yeah. So, remind me, by the way, as I'm doing, docs and stuff, I should probably make a note of you do have that limitation on deep linking. That don't do it from like nothing. Make sure that you have a page first. Anywho, okay, so that's there. Let's go ahead and add a dialog. Forms content. Well, actually no, content view. We'll say sample alert. Okay. Wow, that is ugly. Maybe myself a little bit more screen real estate there. What on earth is going on with this thing? Good grief. Fine, I'll just do spaces. Wow. Okay. Get rid of that. Let's make this a grid. So, okay, so we have that. We're making that a grid. We're going to say that, let's try to think here. We'll say row 1, we're going to have a box view. The background color, static resource, and really, it cannot pick up anything. Yes. It will be key. What color do we want? Let's go with the primary color. Remind me to give Matt a hard time later on the fact that this didn't work. Just saying. Anyway. And then let's put in a say a label. Say the text will be we'll just say alert. the text color, static resource, and I think it was just text color. We can check that though. And then let's do some margin, I guess, around it. And we'll do like a 5 or something, I don't know. Anyway. You want to say pixel, but it's not really pixel because it's just like, anyway. Hold on. When using auto register for navigation, do you still need to call a pop-up nav service? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, Hussein. Let me see here. Let me kind of come back into the code here where I had this. I'm assuming that you mean line 30 here. So this register pop-up navigation service. So if you had the auto register for navigation, all that will do is scan this assembly for any types that are that basically derive from xamarin.forms page, and it will register those for navigation. So your main page, the sample pop-up, those would both automatically get registered. It will not do anything with the view models, so that will just be like you have to have your conventions working for the view model, or you have to have updated the view model locator or explicitly mapped it. But then I don't know why you would do that if you're doing the auto register. That doesn't make any damn sense. Yeah, so it's not going to handle the pop-up navigation service. Like, this is actually replacing iNavigation service with the pop-up navigation service instead. And while I cannot think of a valid reason for you to do it, I should mention, just for fun, that if you actually did come in here and, like, let's say we had a internal class foo navigation service, and we pop up, like we said, okay, this is gonna actually come from the pop-up navigation service. So I could do this, and what? Oh, I didn't spell it right. So I could do this here, right? And we'll just go ahead and generate the constructor so it shuts up. So now it's happy, right? And I could actually, if I was doing something really custom here, I could just do that, and it would take care of everything for me. Now there are a couple things that it's actually doing. So one of the things that you'll notice is you get iPopup navigation, which actually comes from rg.plugins.popup itself. But you'll notice that we never explicitly registered it anywhere over here at all. And that's because it's kind of hidden in this register pop-up navigation service. So you kind of get that for free. It does a little, is registered check, and if it's not registered, then it will go ahead and register it for you. But yeah, that's kind of what all is going on there. Anywho, just a little bit of fun. Yeah, so, whoops, hold on. I deleted too much. We want to get rid of that. Okay, that can stay. Why is that? What? That's weird. Anywho, I do not know why this is all kinds of mad at me right now, but whatever. Yeah, so we'll just kind of come back here. Oh, the text color. I was going to check on that. Yeah, it was. Okay, it was text color. I couldn't remember the name. I did this last week. What do you want from me? Yeah, so that should be overlaid now, and then let's say we want another label here, and we'll say binding to, again, we'll call it message, because why wouldn't we? and we'll set the margin, we'll say 20. I think that's generally just good, right? Oh, and then of course, this part is important, where we say row is 1, so it's not all screwed up. And then we'll put a button in here. We'll say close, right? And then we'll say we have a command that we'll have to create, but do a binding for a close. Oops, command. And we'll put that on grid row 2. Okay. And then let's say we want some padding. I might actually want that to be padding. I don't know. We'll play with it. So we want 0, 0. We'll say 10. Okay. So yeah, so we'll put that there, and now let's create a view model for this thing. And come over here, and we'll say sample alert view model. And again, we're going to inherit from bindable base. And we're going to make this Dialog aware. And I'm lazy, so we're going to make this auto initialize as well. I love how it can see all of the namespaces I need, but cannot import all of them at the same time. So irritating. Okay. Anyway. String, we'll say, do another message. Property, whoops. We'll reference the message. Yep, there we go. Okay. And then this, of course, wants to be implemented. So let's go ahead and do that. So can close. We're just always going to return true. On dialog closed, we don't really care. We don't need to do anything there. We're not going to do anything here. I'll just put a note. Whoops, taken care of by auto initialize. Whoops. There we go. So all we do need to do, what in the hell? What the hell is it doing? I like my property and my backing field to be next to each other, okay? It's just how I operate. Anyway, so we're going to create a delegate command here. I believe we called it the close command. We have to import another namespace for that. Then up here in my constructor, we'll go ahead and set that. So we'll say no, new delegate command. And I'm just really going to, you know, there's not a whole lot. I'm just going to do an anonymous function here. And let's say, no, here, var p equals new dialog parameters. Say callback message hello from the dialog. There we go. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to call this request close, and we're going to pass in the dialog parameters. Oops. Oh, yeah. So what's it complaining about now? You can never really know whether, you know, whether Visual Studio is or Visual Studio Mac is complaining about something valid or invalid that it can't figure out, because it can't figure out anything. Okay, so now I need to come back here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for the container registry, I want to register a dialog. And so I have my sample alert here in my sample alert view model. So now that is registered and wired up, and that should all work. Now I just kind of need to come in here, right, and do something with my dialog service. So we're going to show the dialog, and we called it sample alert. And are we going to do any kind of parameters? Yes, we are. So dialog parameters, and so I'm just going to do it by query string again. Hello from okay, main page. Okay, and then we're going to do a callback here on dialog closed. What I'll call it. Oh, no. Okay. And results. Okay. So what we can do here in this on dialog closed, we're going to check the result for an exception. And if we get an exception, again, as is kind of my way, I'm just going to put a debugger break in there if we got something. And we're going to go ahead and return. And then, so if we're not doing that, right, then I think we can safely assume we have something. So what we're going to do here is we'll do a console write line. And so we have the result parameters. We're going to get the value, and it is a string for the callback message. Okay. So I think that should pretty much be good now. So let's go ahead and try and run it, and we'll see what I forgot. Hopefully I didn't forget anything too big. Okay. So we have our show pop-up. The show pop-up works. We have our show dialog. And that seems to kind of work. Needs a little bit of styling. So let's go ahead and close that. We did see, of course, that it closed, so that was good. So let's kind of come back here and give it a little bit of styling. I don't know, we want sample alert, that was the one. So we'll say the background color is white. Okay. So that is white. And then let's give it some row definitions. So height is auto. Make that the wildcard. Row definition height auto. Just make a frame with a corner radius and no shadow. What do you mean? Like instead of doing a grid, Hussein, or what are you thinking? I mean, because really the whole problem is there was no background, so it was just transparent. So I had to give it some sort of something. What on earth? Oh, that's right. Is there a setting in Visual Studio Mac? I use this so infrequently. I may not even have anything installed that I need to on here. What in the hell? Okay. Right. I'm getting a there's the two-factor thing. Okay. So it popped up a two-factor authentication thing on me. I'm like, where's the input for this? Okay, there we go. Okay. Failed to sync. Well, What do you want from me? Xamarin hot reload. That's why it doesn't work, because I didn't check a box. Okay. So I guess Maddie is off the hook. I don't know why it's not enabled by default, by the way. I think it's stupid. It should be it should really be enabled by default. Okay, so that works. Let me see. Let's change something here. We'll do the, I don't know. Don't ask me why I'm going with purple today. I am. Okay, get over it. Purple. And did that work? It did. Wow. That really screwed everything, didn't it? Okay, that was fun. Try this again. Okay, see, that's much better. Someone remind me to have a discussion with Maddie on that, because that's a valid bug that needs to be fixed. Okay, so white. Yeah, that's messed up. Wow, is that messed up? Okay. Let me do something else here. Let's, I guess, maybe do, what could we do? Oh, I know what we could do. Okay. So I've registered the, if we come in here, unless I deleted it. I did delete it. Okay. I'll bring it back. Container registry. We're going to register for navigation, the navigation page. By the way, Hussein, I know you were asking a lot about the auto register for navigation. I don't believe you get the navigation page by default. You need to register that specifically. Navigation page. Okay. And cool. So let's go ahead and try running this now. And hopefully you'll see what I'm like trying to make sure is working correctly. Okay, so we see main page here. So when I say show pop-up, we still see, okay, we have our main page there in the background. But we're covering all of this content in the center here with the dialog. So, okay, so the reason why everything got like kind of screwy, right, is we're not using the pop-ups. Because again, I keep forgetting, like a moron, that, hey, I need to go and register it. Register dialog servers. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay, so now let's try running it. Okay, and your eyes. What did I hurt your eyes on? Okay. Okay. So that's much better. This is what I want to see right here. Is this, I have the main page. You can kind of see the show dialog button, because what's actually happened now is we have recentered our content. So before, our content was centering on the page, and our content was basically like on top of the underlying content that we had. So we couldn't actually tell what we were doing, which is why I added the whole navigation bar, because now I can see that navigation bar at the top with the mask behind it, which is just beautiful. So some things that we probably want to point out on this is, right now by default, if I do this whole clicking around, like I'm just kind of, I guess can't tell, you just see a mouse. But if I like double click where the mouse is right now, outside of the dialog, nothing happens, right? If I hit close, it closes. Okay. Now, if I come in here and, let's say I add a namespace for Prism. Okay, so I've got Prism there. And now I'm going to say Prism dialog layout. And we'll say close on background tapped. We're going to set it to true. Okay. So now I need to rerun this, but you'll see if I do this, now I have, well, I should. I don't know why the hell this is not working. Remind me to look at this later. The close on background tap should close that. So that may actually be a bug in the Popup plugin that I'll just have to fix. But yeah, so you should be able to close it from the background. I'll need to look at that more later. But yeah, so that is working. And so there's kind of our first little thing. Now, for those of you that would like to help, there are a couple of housekeeping things that I would kind of ask here. So if you look at my simulator, you can kind of see the difference, you know, the using composite command, using event aggregator, using modules, blah, blah, blah. These are the older samples that are on this simulator since I reset last, right? Contoso Cookbook. So we really do want to maintain, you know, some side by side. And one thing I did not do in the sample was I did not update the, you know, the bundle ID or the display name. So if all you see is Prism sample all the time, that's going to get very irritating because you're going to have no clue what sample it is. So one thing I would ask when you do your PRs is to just kind of take a few minutes and kind of come in here and so we'll kind of say that you know what, like the package name here, we'll update this, we'll say pop-up, oh, what the hell's going on here, pop-up demo, what on earth, and then we'll say Prism pop-ups. That was just weird. So now that can be saved, and then I'll do the same thing over here in my info P list. So we'll say pop-up demo, and we'll say Prism pop-ups, right? And yeah, and then we can do the same thing. I believe it's in the Apex. I think it's down here. So yeah, the display name, we're going to say just Prism pop-ups. Okay. So just that quick little change. And then that way when we rerun this, you know, you'll still see this Prism sample here. Hey, Daniel. Good to see you. So we'll still see that, you know, the Prism sample here, so I'll stop that. So the Prism sample is still there. Oh, I don't know what the hell. That was weird. Oh, because you have the bundle name and the display name. And they don't actually update the display name, so we'll change that. Prism pop-ups. Okay, so do this again, because what we want to see is that way afterward. What on earth? Oh, for crying out loud. Run this again. I don't know how many times. Prism sample. What? Okay, well, this is stupid right now, but we should be seeing Prism pop-ups. Either way, you saw that it was kind of duplicated there. I don't know why on earth that is not. What? Stop launching. Device. No. There's the home thing. Okay. So yeah, so we do want to see side by side though, samples, kind of the basic thing there. And then kind of with that, I think that's basically good to go. I'm going to open up a new window here. And we'll open up the sample forms. So of course, what we want to do is update this README now. So we can kind of say a few things about this, like what does the sample show? Shows how to use the Prism plugin Popups library for both what is it? Well, the navigation, or for both the navigation service and dialog service, right? Be sure to read the we'll say read the README on GitHub for both the Prism plugin popups and rg.plugins.popup. Okay. And of course, I'll come back in here later and actually add links and all that nonsense. So, but you know, you kind of get the idea. We want to update that. We'll kind of take this line right here for now. I'm just going to copy it. Of course, we want to come into the README here. And so we've got this coming soon that needs to be replaced. So we need some sort of description there. And that's just kind of irritating me that I don't like the look of the whole. Yeah. So we'll just kind of align it normally. So, oops. So we've got that there. Yeah. So that should be much better now, I think. And now I could do a PR on this if I wanted to, or we could keep going. I don't know what you guys are kind of in the mood for. I know I only have about another half hour until I've got a break, but hopefully that kind of helps you guys as far as kind of seeing what we're looking to do as far as these sample apps. I don't know if anybody has any questions or would like to just kind of say that, hey, my name is Hussein and I want to do XYZ. Or Daniel, I don't know if you'd like to do one, or anyone else on here. But definitely let me know what you guys would like to do, and we'll kind of go from there. So yeah, so that kind of is the general gist of what we're doing, though. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to see if I can get Visual Studio proper to run. I know we were having some issues a little earlier in the stream, but we'll see. Of course, it never wants to come on the right screen either. Okay. We'll get it working eventually here. All right. Okay, so we have the pop-up plugin here. Let's see. Oh, it needs to establish the connection. Okay, connection successful. Try running this now. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck on the build again, because that was very irritating. I love all of you volunteering. It's actually, I'm kind of curious. Has anyone actually opened an issue on GitHub since we've started? Nobody? Really? God. I know, Hussein, you were looking for stuff to do in December. I'm just saying, you could do something. What on earth? Come on. All right, come on. Please build. Oh, hey, it finally built. Yay. I think it built. Yeah, where did we go? No? It did not build. It just died. Oh, how sad. It does not like me today. I don't know what the problem is. Nope, nothing. Come on. Was it the third time? Okay, it took 3 times of trying to build, or 4 times. I've lost track. I don't know. It took several times of trying before that finally worked. Okay, so now that works. This is still working. Good, good. We'll kill that and see. Did it? Yeah. Okay, Prism pop-ups. Now it updated. I don't know why it wasn't updating before. I'm guessing probably because it needed a clean install or something. Anywho, well, I think since we only have about half an hour left and nobody is volunteering, you guys are disappointing me. I'm gonna go cry now, and so we'll come back tomorrow and we'll do another sample. But this at least I think kind of gives you an idea of what we're kind of looking to do here for some of the different samples, and kind of how you might be able to help out and contribute to Prism. I know I hear from a lot of people that they would like to contribute. They're just not really sure how to get started or what to do. And this is a really, really great way that you can kind of do something and help out. So, definitely with that, like I said, hopefully it helps you guys out, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you all later.